This is Justin Cady with ESFI. I'm sitting here with Scarra of Team Dignitas. How are you doing today, man?
Doing pretty well.
That's good to hear. Well, you are here at Lone Star Clash to obviously cast the entire thing. You've had a little bit of casting here and there, and you started out at WCG 2011, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct.
Yeah. What was your favorite part about that event? Like coming out, were you nervous at all, or well, at least in the casting part, at least, were you nervous, or you just go in and do it?
It was kind of a last minute thing. We were only there to cast the third place game, and it was okay. We had the three-way cast with Demon and Jat, and then Demon had to leave the cast main stage, and Jat left because he wanted to watch the main stage game, which actually was fine for me because I like casting by myself. I think I'm not a good enough caster to cast with another person, which is why I'm glad for this experience because it lets me learn how to cast with someone else. Currently, I cast better by myself because I'm a better play-by-play than I am an analyst, even though as an analyst I'm probably pretty good too.
Well, you said you're getting better. Is this something you kind of like to explore further and maybe do more future events as opposed to play, or just kind of as a side gig?
I don't want this to hinder my play. I feel like a lot of times when people go into casting, people are like, oh, well, his career is over, as a player. And I don't want those rumors to pop about me. I'm definitely 100% committed to playing. The only reason why I'm here is because I really like Tespa. I wanted to help him out for the event.
Well, you said you like Tespa, and you're obviously from Texas. Do you have any sort of connection with Tespa outside of this event right here?
The people who run Tespa, I know a lot of them. I played with one of them for almost 3 years before I even played League of Legends. And so it just turns out that he ended up in collegiate esports, and I ended up as a pro player. And it's like, do you want to come down? I'm like, sure, why not? No, there's nothing bad for me. It's just I just had to tell my team ahead of time so we knew we would miss scrim days for this weekend, and that was it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, you just came back from MLG as a player, obviously. Now you're doing this as a caster. Is there any sort of exhaustion that comes into play? Because you have MLG Dallas, you're doing this, and I believe in 2 weeks there's IPL, IEM. There's a whole bunch of slew of events coming up. Do you ever kind of take that into consideration? And does that hinder any sort of practicing and all that?
It doesn't hinder practicing because at events you get more practice than you do scrimming normally, but it is a little bit of it sort of kind of stacks up. If you travel a lot, it starts to build over time. It's not noticeable at first, but over time, a long period of time, it's kind of, you have to be careful about traveling too much. We actually passed on trying to qualify for the IEM Singapore, and that's the week before IPL. We could have gone to almost 4 events this month if we wanted to go to all of them, but I talked to my team and we were just no, we don't really feel like flying one place and then immediately flying back and having to deal with jet lag.
All right, so you just casted CLG EU versus Orbit, or former Orbit / Reddit Nation. Did you see anything cool that came out of that game?
In terms of strategic play, I didn't really see anything new. I already seen Lee Sin last tournament. I saw him in solo queue multiple times. I've seen Eve mid. I've seen Nunu Cog before. Nothing really stands out to me as wow, that's an incredible new strategy, or wow, those are new champion picks. I've seen gameplay as well last MLG, or even the game before us, they play gameplay as well. So nothing too innovative, but I thought the games themselves were pretty good. The first and second games were really nice to cast. The third game a little bit lethargic to cast, but still not too bad.
Yeah. Well, you said you saw Lee Sin a lot, and that's something. It is something that Froggen's brought out recently. Have you sort of found any sort of counter or at least something to deal with? Because it seems like he just wrecks on that.
He does really well in lane. Probably the best is the Diana pick from Ambition, Blaze versus CLGU. Froggen really wasn't able to get anything more than a 15 CS lead, and once Diana got blue buff, Diana could all in Froggen without him having to worry about it. So it seems like Diana does really well. You can also run ADs middle as well, Kaylin could probably do extremely well against Lee Sin. And just, I'm sure there's other matchups. It's not something that I'm too worried about because typically it's only CLGU that has the mechanics to be able to run that champion middle, because a lot of it's a highly mechanically required. It's a champion that requires a lot of mechanical skill, and just typically AP players aren't super diverse in their picks to be able to play like bruisers mid and ADs mid. I don't really have to worry about that pick for any other team but CLGEU.
Mm-hmm. So, like for you personally, what would you pick against that? Would you pick Diana as well?
Yeah, Diana would be good because it's just mainly because I play Diana.
Mm-hmm.
Anivia and Lee Sin are both good as well.
Okay.
Or and Gragas, sorry, are both good as well.
Well, what makes Gragas so good against Lee Sin? Just the ability to just chunk him down.
I think he's just naturally tanky, and the attack speed debuff from Q allows you to trade like just auto attack trade and come out on top.
All right. Well, you are casting here for both the pro and I believe the collegiate as well. Are you looking forward to any of those games, or do you just kind of not know too much about the teams that are entering?
They actually made sure that I wasn't casting collegiate this tournament, so I'll be casting every pro event. I'll switch off my other caster, which is very good for me because I don't like going to tournaments not knowing about the teams. Like I researched the teams going in here. Like I had like Word documents before this game or before the Orbit vs CLGEU game, talking about like the overall storylines, what to follow as a caster, as well as the expected bans and picks of every player.
Well, there's another guy in the StarCraft scene. I'm sure you might know him, Apollo, who is on your team. Does he kind of teach you that kind of thing, or are you just something you learned on your own?
No, he doesn't teach me anything. Like he's on the StarCraft side. He's a really cool guy. I met him at like 2 or 3 events. I love him. He's hilarious, but he's also known to be like very strategic in how he casts. Like he studies really really well, and I feel like as a caster, it's your responsibility to learn about teams and what they play. So when I play, I research other teams. When I cast, I research other teams. So this actually wasn't too much of a difference from me just between playing and casting, but I just typically have stuff written out more for casting just to make sure I understand it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the interview. I appreciate it. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or any shout outs you'd like to give?
Obviously like to thank out my sponsors and my team, Team Dignitas. I want to also shout out Tespa for throwing a really good event here. It was a little bit of a rocky start, but I'm hoping to transition to a pretty decent tournament. We apparently had very good numbers going off the first game, over 40,000, and so I'm very surprised about that. I hope that a lot of people come down to watch this. And if not, watch them online, and please support me and the student organization, as well as the sponsors.
Awesome. Thank you, man.